I'm gonna answer all of your guys' in-law questions today while we make some lunch together. First question, did I see any red flags while we were dating? Honestly, no. They were more like yellow flags, like things where I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but like whatever, you know, that just could be how this family is. There were some red flags, like things that I found out after we stopped talking to them. My mother-in-law was kind of making fun of my mom and our wedding that we had done, and like, oh, this is so cheap, and why would you do this? And also when we were dating, I got toxic shock syndrome, and I found out later that my mother-in-law thought that was fake, and I was faking it the whole time, and like didn't feel bad for me at all. Oh, fun. Super, super fun. So do you think that if you had talked to people one-on-one instead of all together, things could have changed? Honestly, no. Like, I just had to like be okay with the fact that like I really did try my best. There is nothing I could have done. I could have like brought Jesus down, and I really do not think that that would have helped them see it more. Like, I tried my best, and we actually did have a lot of one-on-one conversations with them. It's just so weird to like talk logically to a person and then be like, yeah, but like this is mom, and it's like, and in-law parents, who is the real narcissist, mom or dad? It's for sure mom. Dad is a big enabler, but I actually don't think it's narcissist. We've talked to 2 therapists now, and obviously she's not diagnosed, but they both think it's borderline personality disorder. Are you guys aligned in your time being done? Like, did me and Lion both want to be done at the same time? Yes and no. Like, I think if it had been me, I would have cut it off after the first conversation. Like, I was so done. I did not see how we were gonna have a relationship with them. But I was like, these are Lighty's parents. Like, we'll try it. We'll see it out. And he kept going and going. Let's figure out a time frame with a therapist, with me, with you, so that all of us can be heard and we can get like your best healthy version taken care of. If you ever second guess or doubt yourself that their behavior was bad as it was, yeah, I don't feel like I second guess it. I just forget, and then I like start telling and talking about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was like really, really, really bad. That was horrible. I think while we were in it, for sure, I was like, is this really happening? Like, are we the crazy ones? Surely, like, nobody would ever do this like in the right mindset. Was your husband coping with the loss of his parents? Was it a close relationship prior? Yeah, that was honestly really hard. It's kind of like your parents dying, but they're still here. So lots of therapy. He had a really hard time. Like I said, that first year, it was rough. But he's doing a lot better now. We are on the up and up and doing good. Someone said, had he seen this mean side of his siblings before? Was he pressured to be like that? So yes, like there was a group chat before all of this had started that was called, let's just say my sister-in-law's name was Molly. The group chat with all the siblings was not Molly. And then every year on Molly's birthday, they would send a text like, hey, did anyone say happy birthday to Molly? Heck no, I'm not saying happy birthday to her. She's probably sitting there by herself, blah, blah, blah. Such mean stuff. I was still like surprised at the level that they took it to in that group chat when they were like saying so many horrible things. That was still really abrasive and shocking. I don't think I realized how bad it was. Oh, and then someone said, did we ever get a story on why they don't want our relationship with his sister-in-law? No, because it's honestly not my story to tell. It's really similar to ours, where we were just like, hey, this is kind of like a weird relationship and we feel like you're just kind of like bumping us out. But there was also inheritance money with the grandpa that got involved into it. And again, it's not my story to tell. The only thing I will say is, in my opinion, it feels like there's a lot of people putting money in inheritance over relationships. And me and Lion were just like, you know what, like, I don't really care. I don't want to ever put that in front of a relationship and say I won't talk to this sister-in-law because of that. But, you know, what would you recommend to any woman who is going through this kind of relationship? Honestly, set those boundaries early. Set those now and set them like with whoever your partner is. Be like, hey, you know, we're not going to be doing this. We're not going to let any grandparents dictate this. Like, set those now. Also, get into therapy ASAP. I wish we would have done therapy right from the beginning, because I actually don't think that every in-law relationship needs to be like completely no contact. I mean, ours, obviously, it just wasn't safe. But I think a lot of times it can just be like, you know what, I'm going to like do the gray wall, I can't remember, the gray wall method or whatever it is, where you're just like become so uninteresting, you become very firm in your boundaries. You don't give basically anyone, you don't give anyone any ammunition. You don't give them any emotional ammunition. You don't give them any like making my life interesting ammunition. I don't know if that makes sense. Have my kids picked up on anything with the in-laws on that side of the family? Yeah, for sure. The biggest thing is they just are like, yeah, they've seen their dad cry and they know that mom and dad or grandma and grandpa and a lot of the aunts and uncles aren't being nice right now. So they know that. And they also know like, hey, we haven't been there for a long time. But honestly, it's really only our oldest that has like said anything like that. He's the only one with like a lot of memories. Other than that, honestly, no. And that only happens like maybe once a year. I help my husband realize his parents are like this and stop excusing their behavior. My husband going to therapy on his own because he was having a lot of anxiety. And then the therapist being like, yeah, this is stemming a lot from your childhood and the way you were raised and parenting. That really opened up my eyes, and I was like, yeah, duh, like I've been telling you that for years. But I think when you have like a therapist who is able to connect the dots between like anxiety or whatever they're feeling to the things that are happening in their family, that's a big, big, big game changer. I think that your husband turned out normal when his parents were like this. I don't freaking know. Like literally by all means, he should be just as crazy too. And there are some siblings that I do think are turning out a lot like the mother-in-law, for sure. Like we've seen that. But I think when you each play a different role in the family, like with toxic families like this, like there's someone who does kind of end up being a mini mom. There's people who end up being the comedic relief. There's people who end up being just like lots of different roles. I think depending on your role in the family is kind of how you see things and how you turn out. Anyways, I think that I answered all the questions. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Other than that, I think we're good. I just made the best salad on planet Earth, so I'm gonna go eat this and I will see you guys later.